What's up? It's Ollie here. I've been meaning to post an instructional video for a while just to kind of promote the online lessons that I teach. So I asked online like what kind of topics would people want to see me cover. The most popular topic by a bit of a landslide was in that kind of right-handed down picking type area. So I'm going to share a couple of exercises that I end up teaching in like 90% of my lessons, and these are things that I actually use, and they're really cool because they work on a few different aspects of your playing. They work on your like stamina, accuracy, some rhythm stuff as well, so they're pretty cool. Let's do it. Okay, so to start off, the exercises are based around these 6 notes. So on the second string, that's frets 5, 7, 8, and then the same thing on the next string. It's a very common pattern, just bear with me, things are going to get a little bit more exciting soon. So what we do is we mute everything with the right hand, and we just cycle around those 6 notes. Just try and focus on making sure that everything's dynamically even, you're hitting everything the same velocity, everything's the same amount of muted, and just stay relaxed, more importantly, over everything else. So now what we're going to do is we're going to accent the very first note. So we're going to hit it slightly harder, and we're going to open the right hand mute as well. So we're going to play it as an open note, and we get this. Now remembering that immediately after you've played this loud note, we want to go back to the kind of quieter dynamic where everything's muted. After you're comfortable with that, all we do is we move the accent to the second note. So this means that our first note is now muted and kind of quiet like the rest of them. You'll probably find that that's less natural than accenting the very first note you play. It's a little bit awkward to highlight maybe your ring finger and then get really quiet again with your pinky. That's kind of the point of the whole exercise, is I'm trying to kind of rewire the brain of your right hand a little bit. So if you find that one difficult, spend some time on it. The point is we're going to go through all 6 notes, and we want every single one of them to feel as confident as any of the others. Total consistency. So we now have... Then we move the accent to the third note. The fourth. Fifth. And lastly, the 6th note. The 2nd and the 5th, I would say, are probably the trickiest ones, so spend more time on those. So once you've gone through all of them, again, you want to be doing this with like a metronome. I don't have one with me, unfortunately, but try it at varying speeds. But definitely start slow. There's no point rushing through any of this stuff. So once we're comfortable with those, what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the very last note, which gives us a group of 5 notes. And we're going to repeat the same process. So we're going to throw an accent on the first note. The reason I chose 5 is just because it's an odd number. It's harder to just go into autopilot and just gloss through it. What I really want you to be doing is paying attention to each note and the quality of each note, making sure that your mutes are accurate and that the dynamic of your loud note is kind of consistent, things like that. But you have to stop and think about it a little bit more if it's an odd number, so that's why that is. And then we move the accent to the second note. Third. Fourth. And the 5th. Pretty simple so far. So now the next step is to go back to a group of 6s. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of superimpose a different feel on top. By that, what I mean is we're going to, what I essentially want to hear is we're going to accent the first of every 4 notes. So I want to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. But because 4 and 6 don't divide into each other so well, what's going to happen is your accent is going to start moving around the pattern, and it will be in a random place every time. Or what feels random. It is a pattern. So essentially what you end up with is this. just listen to that, you'll hear that it's basically 3 accents instead of 1. You have the first note here, then the 5th note that you play is your 2nd accent, and then on the 2nd repeat it's your 3rd note. So if you want, you can just slow it down and learn it as a pattern. I have no issues with people doing that as long as the feel is there. You're supposed to be feeling it as like a superimposed groove as opposed to just learning it as a part. So just staying conscious of that 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do this with any amount of numbers that you can think of. If we go back to a group of 5 notes, and let's say maybe we'll superimpose groups of 3 over the top. So what we end up with is, well, what I want to hear is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Again, 3 doesn't divide into 5 so well, so you're going to end up with a moving pattern again. So 1, 2, 3. This isn't the kind of thing that's going to be easy straight away, but if you've gone through and played each accent individually, all you're really doing is adding different accents together. It shouldn't be the most difficult thing in the world. And you can take it as far as you want. You know, if you want to try, I don't know, 5, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, over 6, you get 1, 2. Or 7s over 3, or, you know, just make it whatever you want to make it. As long as each accent feels confident and loud, that's kind of the main thing you're trying to take away from it. You can just make kind of accents pop out in random places and make things feel a little bit more lively. So now for increasing the challenge, if you get bored of these notes, and I already am, you can try maybe a major shape. If you get bored of that, maybe try a stretchier shape. Or maybe a string skipping thing. As long as you just change little parameters here and there and you can't just kind of shut off and go on autopilot. The moment you have to stay aware of what you're doing and stay concentrated, that's the moment where you're kind of getting the most benefit from it. So now for musical applications, I like to play around with these kind of 2-string, if you're in a drop tuning, you can get some really easy 2-string arpeggios. I like the sound of those, and in my song Untitled, the middle section goes something like this. And all that's happening there is I had these 3 groups of arpeggios, which is cool, and the groove of the song is like, it's kind of a 6/8 type thing. But I figured that just playing them open, it just felt a little bit kindergarten, a little bit Fisher Price, a little bit entry level, just not very exciting. But I figured, well, if I have 3 groups of 4 notes, what's to stop me from just following the groove of the song, which is in 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So again, my accents start to move around and it feels way more musical. So all that's happening is I'm just cycling around these groups of 4 notes and just throwing an accent on the first of every 3 notes. And then the second time around, I just decided to add a further accent just for sake of kind of development and keeping things musical and not sounding so much like an exercise. So you get... Thanks for watching and checking out. I hope you took something away from it. Remember to start with a simple version of the exercises first. There's no point throwing yourself in the deep end and trying to play 9 over 5 note accents. It's not really the point. The point is to get confident and comfortable with the simple things beforehand, before you get kind of crazy with it. I'm currently available for online guitar lessons, so if that's something you want to do, you can hit me up on any of my social media pages or in my email. All that information will be in the description of this video. Happy practicing. Take care.